Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to the One Bitcoin Show. Today is May the 23rd, 2019. Strong hand, offended by selling, be a unique beast. Value your wealth in Bitcoin, unconfiscatable. Personal responsibility is new counterculture, conviction. And today is all about conviction. YouTube, Google was giving me all sorts of problems, but we getting this show off live, baby. A new show here every day, even when it goes totally whack on the YouTube side. Pound that like button. All you guys have been waiting in the chat. This one's for you, brothers and sisters. And yeah, I will be speaking in Long Beach at 7 p.m., and that's in about 7 hours. I'm getting picked up pretty soon. I got to take a shower before then. I am pumped to talk to all the people down in Long Beach and hang out with some cool dudes. I am really energized right now because I was not sure this show was going to get off. You can ask questions. I don't know if we're going to have time for questions. Type in Bitcoin Meister in there. I know this chat, my God, you guys have been yelping it up in this chat. I don't know if people already asked questions. Okay, well, let's get into the show. Okay, sorry, this is just amazing. The show we've got tomorrow at noon Eastern time, at noon Baltimore time. This week in Bitcoin, Alex will be on from Lolly, and B Gold Ed will be on, and Money Triggs will be on. And all right, let's start with just pound that like button, everyone. Oh, happy to be alive, I'll tell you that. So Michael Malice was on the Dave Rubin show recently. I mean, like 2 days ago. I watched it, and he's talking, and this is something I have brought up many times, how these figures in social media and YouTube are warning everyone. They're like, the banks are already banning people. PayPal is already banning people. Now, Michael Malice was pretty calm about this. He wasn't too doom about it. He was just like, well, there will be competition to the banks that will take advantage of these bannings, and everything will be fine. And they'll come up with a solution. Well, let me tell you something, Michael Malice. You did not mention Bitcoin, at least in part one. The solution is already here. The solution is Bitcoin. So everyone, before all your fellow 20%ers figure out this situation, that banks will ban people. PayPal is banning people, okay? Before everyone else figures out this situation, and it's only going to be 20%ers who figure it out. I don't think 80%ers can even comprehend this. But few understand this. I mean, there are so many smart people saying, woe is me, what are we to do? What are we to do? You get Bitcoin before everybody figures out that we already have a solution to the bank bans. We already have a solution. So don't go up in arms. Don't go crazy. Don't go doomed. Don't think the world is about to end. It's fine. You've got Bitcoin. You can set up your whole a system any way you want it with Bitcoin in order to create content and earn and et cetera, and have your own bank account. Exactly. Be your own bank. You don't need these banks at all right now if you're in Bitcoin, okay? So yeah, they all ban you, fine. You've got Bitcoin, my Lord. You can travel everywhere in the world with it. Moving on. This is a tweet from Mike Busella. It is about the CME group. I hope I'm not skipping anything here. Can't fake CME group volume. CME Bitcoin future stats. May strongest month ever. Q2 ADV 164% greater than Q1. Over 2,500 accounts have traded Bitcoin futures. That is good news. And on that institute, and I mean, this is something we knew was going to happen. Of course, it's going to, the CME, the futures, all that nonsense that I would never participate in. More and more people are participating in it. But here we go from Tushar Jain. He says, all the big OTC desks seem to be having record volumes too. This is amazingly bullish for the industry. Clear signs of institutional money entering the space. So yeah, those are two clear signs right there. Now, hey, we all know what's going to happen, that it's going to happen, that institutional money is entering the space, mostly buying Bitcoin. As GBTC people said, that the products that most people are interested in are Bitcoin, even though Barry Silbert has all sorts of other projects. So when you say the space, most of these people are thinking Bitcoin when they're talking about institutional investment. Now, of course, they will diversify for the sake of diversification eventually, which whatever. That's if they want to mess with that, then they can do that because they don't understand that Bitcoin is the next Bitcoin. One Bitcoin equals one Bitcoin. Don't FOMO on altcoins. Now, so when thinking of the future of institutional investors coming in and traditional investors coming in, people who are used to looking at corporations and looking at their CEOs and seeing if there's controversy, if they're run properly, taking into account, I mean, that's how traditional financial organizations are judged by very sound fact. How sound is this institution? How sound is this company? How sound is this product? Well, let's think about BSV for a second. Think about an institution, a traditional, incredibly wealthy institution, and they're analyzing BSV, or Warren Buffett, if he's looking at a Warren Buffett type of person looking at BSV. They're going to look at who's in charge. Okay, so I mean, think rationally here, people. I really want you to think about the future of BSV. When some people, they make huge claims about it, or they're worried about it, or something that's going to do something to Bitcoin. Think about it. Think about it. When someone looks at that situation, a rational person, how can any rational institution that listens to anything that comes out of that outfit even consider buying that? Okay, first of all, going beyond the fake Toshi stuff, the other spokesperson is a guy who made all his money in an unregulated gambling. Okay, so traditional institutions, are they going to want to have something to do besides, forget about the sociopath aspect of it, with a guy who's unregulated gambling and lives in the Caribbean? Okay, that's not something that traditional investors usually get into, okay, that tremendous institutions want to be a part of. So simply put, the people that are buying BSV are crypto kids or crypto people, or in this space are people who just are like, oh yeah, sure, he can say whatever he wants. And sure, he can say whatever he wants to say. But there are costs to it, okay? And think logically, people. Think like a grown-up. Are any institutions going to want to touch that at all? Are any? And then think about the institutional money that is flowing into the space, in the Bitcoin. And that will trickle into some of the top tier altcoins. They're going to look at some of those top tier. They'll look at Ethereum. They'll like, well, the guy in charge there, he's a genius. You know, and he doesn't, I mean, there's no cursing and screaming and drama and claims and suits and this and that and the other. And he's, you know, he's going, the guy in charge of Ethereum is you know, the figurehead behind Ethereum. He's going out of his way to be friendly with the institutions. He's very trendy. He believes in whatever that radical markets, all these things that are he's so good for the environment, et cetera, et cetera. So again, just giving you guys a little taste of the future for you. So I mean, you should think like an institution when it comes to that, at least. Don't be a crypto kitty and say, well, maybe that's I'll risk I'll gamble over there. It's not even worth the gamble, dude. Value your wealth in Bitcoin, pound that like button. So there's my take. I mean, take a few steps back when you hear this BSV stuff and really think, and then think about the institutional money that's coming into cryptocurrency and see how they really they're not going in the same direction. All right. So here's a funny tweet from Jeet. A video of the famous music video killed the radio star. Video killed the radio star. And then Jeet's line is, Bitcoin killed the real estate, art, and liquid investment star. I like that. And gold star. How about that? There's my addition to that. Now, speaking about gold, Peter Schiff has a new video that is out, and at the 40-minute mark, or the 45-minute mark, toward the end here, 40-minute mark, one thing that he says, he starts to talk about the 60 Minutes show about Bitcoin. And he talks about how he had a debate, a gold versus Bitcoin debate and all of this. And he has some interesting words. He says, countries will buy gold in preparation of a dollar collapse. And again, this is the same thing that people like Peter Schiff have been saying since 1981. I mean, you can go watch Doug Casey in 1981 on the Phil Donahue show saying these things that, you know, countries are going to buy gold and the dollar collapse this, dollar collapse that. It's 1981 type of stuff here. But anyway, Schiff still says it and people still buy into it. And I say it is easier for the central banks to buy Bitcoin or to make their own cryptocurrency, in fact, instead of buying gold. And he says central banks will never buy Bitcoin. Okay, those are words to remember. He actually says those words, that central banks will never buy Bitcoin. And we in the Bitcoin, we just dreamed that, okay? But again, he thinks the central banks that they're going to buy gold. That's the direction they're going to go in to prepare for the legendary financial collapse from 1981. That's what he thinks they're going to buy. He doesn't think, you know, he doesn't think it's easy. It's so simple for the central banks to buy Bitcoin or to even create their own crypto over buying gold. Okay, so that's me saying that. So he thought the 60 Minutes had the big people in the space on, which is hilarious. If he thinks Charlie Shrem is a big person or that Indian woman is a big person, I don't even. I mean, he says it was so biased toward Bitcoin, and at the 45-minute mark, he really starts analyzing this 60-minute situation to a point where it's like a conspiracy theory. He comes up with a 60 Minutes conspiracy theory for Bitcoin. He's like, all the insiders knew this was going to happen, so that's why the price pumped. And again, a pizza guy was interviewed on there. Pizza guy is one of the big players in the Bitcoin space. I mean, he's coming up. He seems very desperate. You know, the excuses that he comes up with starting at the 45-minute mark. It's on a certain level, it is sad because he comes up with the conspiracy theories about 60 Minutes, why Bitcoin was on 60 Minutes. And he says the piece was very, very positive. It was a very positive. You couldn't ask for Bitcoin people couldn't ask for anything more. I mean, it's ridiculous. Again, my grandmother watched the show. She was scared when because I mean, they're bringing out drugs. They're bringing up all these things that scare normies, okay? So I wouldn't say it was it wasn't super positive, but that's besides the point. Go watch Peter Schiff's video at the 45-minute mark and see that he really does come up with basically a conspiracy theory about 60 Minutes and Bitcoin. Now, again, I bring this up, I mean, just to show you that with the old school, with that kind of golden holder, he's got some conviction that he's coming up with some wild and wacky stuff there. But we should remember that he says central banks will never buy Bitcoin. Okay, he says that. I say they will. They will. Vinny Lingham. But again, I brought this up many times. That was one of the inspirational thoughts that Vinny came up with that inspired me to get more Bitcoin. And when you think of it, it makes sense. There are a lot of central banks. There are a lot of central banks on this planet. There are a lot of countries on this planet, okay, that have things similar to central banks. That they're lowly countries. They're going to realize eventually, you know, this is something to prop us up here a bit. All right, pound that like button. Oh, God Almighty! I'm so happy this show is live. Here's a tweet from from Kyle Bass. He has an article called Quiet Panic in Hong Kong. Today, I'm releasing our views on the financial, political, and legal plight of Hong Kong. I think investors that have assets invested there should immediately move them to US dollars before it's too late. Now, I'm not saying that. I am bringing that up because quiet panic, the Chinese they're in charge of Hong Kong, yet they've had a hands-off approach, but it's getting more and more and more hands-on. So people who want to protect themselves there, he's saying, you know, get into the dollar. You liquefy your assets there before the Chinese take your assets, I guess is what he's saying. I say they're going to be people who realize there's a quiet panic in Hong Kong, and they're not going to buy US dollar. They're going to get into Bitcoin. So and I don't want the situation in Hong Kong to get worse. I want the Chinese to have a hands-off approach. I've been to Hong Kong before. It's rocking over there. They've got a lot of good things. the Chinese didn't build that Hong Kong. Okay, it was under British rule that it succeeded, and under the Western way of business and free markets, et cetera, et cetera. So I mean, I would love to see it continue that way. But if the Chinese get harder there, force have a strong hand and start squeezing Hong Kong, then yeah, it will be good for Bitcoin. This is just, and things like this. This is what in other countries that similar things can happen. Government becomes more tyrannical. People are going to silently panic into Bitcoin. So again, some people will liquefy their assets into the US dollars. They could do that if they want to, but it might be easier for in that part of the world, they know about Bitcoin. They definitely know about Bitcoin. All right, remember, go to disruptmeister.com. You can watch over 1,300 of my shows there. Yesterday, when I was talking about the Bitcoin halving, I forgot to say the famous Chris Gilliard line, the biggest supply shock in the history of financial markets. Bam! I am pumped about that. It's in a year. It'll be in a year. The biggest supply shock in the history of financial markets. All right. Moving on, CoinDesk article. And the only reason I'm bringing it up is because it says you can now invest. This is Robinhood. Currently, you can invest in 7 cryptocurrencies on Robinhood Crypto. Bitcoin, Bcash, BSV, Ethereum Classic, Litecoin, and Dogecoin. You can also track price movements and news from 10 additional cryptocurrencies. Again, how big of a player in the space is Robinhood? I don't know. They will have some say in what's a top tier altcoin. Again, they mentioned some of the ones we're already familiar with: Bitcoin, Bcash, Ethereum Classic, Litecoin. So Dogecoin, most people don't think that is. And of course, BSV, they're clearly including because, well, it was easy to include, I guess. They're not, they know that the crypto kids are going to use, the 19-year-olds are going to use their app to buy. So yeah, why not sell something that's totally insane like BSV? Again, they're not like an institution. They're not selling the giant institutions or anything like that. But again, hey, so that is I'm going to say that I'm going to say it like it is. That is a positive for BSV if an app like this wants to include it because they think they can make money off of it to selling it to the crypto kitties. Then yeah, that does boost BSV a little bit. But no, BSV is no top tier altcoin, I will tell you. But hey, they can grow. That's an actual real thing. If the BSV people, they're into lawsuits and all this stuff, instead of that, they should drop that and say, you know what? Hey, we're cool. These Robinhood people are actually carrying us. That's actually a real positive thing for them. But they're not too much into that. They're into lots of wild and wacky stories over there in the BSV land. But anyway, Robinhood, yeah, you're doing your part to kind of try to solidify what a top tier altcoin is. And finally, save this for the future. What is this, Adam? Oh, no, this is me telling myself to tell all you guys that this Matt Odell tweet is it's a good definition of Bitcoin if you want to tell your newbie friends what Bitcoin is. And he says, Bitcoin is a new type of money that is digital and independent of world governments or corporations. It is hard to seize, block, or inflate, and easy to send around the world. It is the best money we have ever had. As more people realize this, the price should rise. So that was a very nice, to the point definition that everyone can understand. No hard terminologies in there. And I think that's something you should share with your newbie friends and neighbors if they ever ask you what Bitcoin is. All right, well, I'm checking the chat right now, see if there were any questions. Good. I'm glad no one asked me any questions because, as you can tell, I'm really in a rush now, but I got a big smile on my face because I did have that conviction today, and I knew I would get this show off. Google and YouTube, man, you guys can be so wacky sometimes with how things work and how they don't work. Well, again, hopefully tomorrow at noon Eastern time, you can all tune in and there will be no technical difficulties when I'm trying to get 3 other guys on live with me. So I'm also going over my notes right here as I talk to you to make sure I did not forget anything, and I did not. So I will see some of you in Long Beach in 7 hours. I am Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Remember to subscribe to this channel, like this video, share this video, check out the links below, bang that bell button, and you can see the big smile on my face. This is what life is about, people. Staying positive, knowing that, if you keep trying, you will get that show off. And life goes on. Someone just asked me, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I still, traveling around. I don't see myself to settle down. I see myself still making these shows, and really excited about the 2024 halving. That's right. That's where I see myself in 5 years. All right. I will see you guys tomorrow, and some of you tonight. Bye-bye.